Welcome into the Gridiron Grind. It's Creta 3 and Jimmy G. We're back. Big weekend coming up. A lot of football. We got like 5 straight days of football. You got college football playoffs Thursday, Friday, NFL Wildcard round Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's a huge weekend for football, Jimmy. Super pumped. Snow is hitting the ground. Couldn't be a better time to just chill out and watch some football.
Right. Just chill out, make some chili.
Yes.
Personally prefer without beans, but you do whatever.
No beans
Chili,
here.
some
No
kind of
beans.
soup, some kind of crock pot, something. And like you said, just get on the couch, get comfortable,
Yep.
and watch great football. And we've had great football since the bowl season started.
Yep.
Everything from the Pop-Tarts Bowl, let's go all the way to the FCS National Championship game that was just played about 45 minutes south of us here in Frisco. It's a great favorite time of the year. And then March Madness hits, and then I don't have anything. So,
Yeah. Then it's time, spring football, and time to get ready for football. College baseball holds you over. Let's talk about these games. We got a whole slate of games. We're going to talk about both college football semifinal games as well as all the NFL wildcard games. We'll start with the college. We'll start Thursday night.
Let's start with college. And can I, some are calling this, some experts call this what should have been the national championship. The Liberty Bowl, 39-26 win for the Razorbacks.
Let's not overlook that.
Calling the best game of the season, arguably should have been the national championship. What a game. What a game. I just wanted to throw that in there. I know that there's, the playoffs are going on and there's teams competing for the national championship. But, a lot of people are saying that was probably the best game of the season. I thought so.
Wasn't Texas
I just want to throw that out there before we get into
Texas
the
Tech favored? Wasn't Tech favored in that game?
Yeah.
That one was over when it started.
Yeah, that was.
And it was two different caliber teams on the field that night.
Yeah, we had a mission, and of course Tech got their starting QB, but doesn't matter, man. Next guy up. We've had 30-something people enter the transfer portal.
Yeah, Arkansas had like the most entrants into the transfer portal and still rolled out and smoked them.
Yeah, still do. Oklahoma's second. We're at 31 or 32 entrants into the transfer portal. So, but yeah, I guess we can get on to these other games. But I just
we'll settle for these other games. Starts Thursday night, Orange Bowl. We got Notre Dame, and you called it. You picked Notre Dame over Georgia. Good call by Jimmy. Notre Dame smoked them. Really, that was in control the whole game. And they take on Penn State. We got to pick them right now. Right when we started the show, the line's kind of been up and down. When I looked and wrote it down, it was a pick 'em over under 44.5. Notre Dame, Penn State. Jimmy, what are you thinking in that one?
I think it's going to be another good. I think these last 2 games, well, the 3 games, because obviously the national championship game, but I think these last, really going back to the last round of playoff games have just been phenomenal. I mean, I'm liking the 12-team playoffs. I think they need to reseed, but I'm telling you, man, I say this. At first, I thought they needed to reseed, but that Arizona State-Texas game, I'm going, hey, man, I think Arizona State, I don't think they deserve the bye over Texas, but it turned out to be a phenomenal game. Yep. Who knows if we get to see that, if they reseed or not.
True. Oregon's the one that really should have a complaint. They were number 1, only undefeated team, and they had to play Ohio State their first game. Ohio State shouldn't have had to have been 8. They should have been higher than 8. I think everybody can see that. And I think that's why they should have reseeded. Oregon shouldn't have suffered having to play Ohio State their very first game. Because Ohio State, Oregon ran into a buzzsaw. Yeah. They're on another level. Notre Dame, Penn State, you got 2 pretty good defenses. And Notre Dame, the way they handled Georgia, Notre Dame looks pretty good. That's kind of who I like in this game. Notre Dame is very simple how they try to win football games. They play elite defense, and they just suffocate you on defense. And then they play ground control offense. Riley Leonard's a quarterback. He's going to run the ball. He's not going to throw it a lot. And they're just going to game management, shrink the game, and play defense and run the football and try to create turnovers and take care of the ball. Very straightforward path to victory for Notre Dame.
I think so, too. I like Notre Dame in this game as well for everything you just said. The defense, that, and they They like to get up. First, let's go back to the Georgia game. They scored 17 points in 54 seconds. One of
Yep.
them, the kickoff return for a touchdown, but still, I'm like, that was the point for me where I went, oh, dude, this might really be over. Georgia fought
Yep.
back, but when you have special teams, when you're able to score offensively, your defense look good, and you get help from the special teams, you're hard to beat. And when they ran that back, that was to me, I was going, oh boy, this one might be over. Ended up being over, and that's I like Notre Dame now, like you said, they'll score and get up. They'll do what Texas does, Texas's models. We're going to run the football down your throat, and we're just going to ground and pound and move the chains and wear you down and not give your offense a chance to get back on the field.
Yeah,
Penn State plays really good defense as well.
they do.
But I think I like Notre Dame more offensively
I
than
do
I do
too.
Penn State this game.
I do too. A lot of pressure is going to be on Drew Aller. Can he lead Penn State? Does he have enough weapons? He has a tight end and Tyler Warren, best tight end in the country for Penn
Yeah.
State. But that Notre Dame defense, I mean, you have statistically the three best defenses are still left. Yeah, Texas, Notre Dame, Ohio State have ranked in the top three in defense all year. So three of your four teams, and Penn State's like ninth or 10th in defense.
Mhm.
So I think you really started seeing a shift in college football a couple years ago when all the offense were taking over. The last couple of years, like you've seen Georgia when they won two in a row, they won it with defense. You're really starting to see a shift to the teams who play really good defense. Those are the teams that are winning national. Michigan had the number one defense in the country last year. You're really starting to see defensive teams. You win national championships with defense probably the last 4 or 5 years in college football. So
Yeah, I
I think
agree. And it,
we're
it
doing that this
really,
year.
they take over those dynamic offenses. They
Yep.
really shut them down. And then it's like you can see the panic from the players. The coaches go, okay, we need to make these adjustments. But, I don't know of a coach that's ever, gone out there and suited up when stuff wasn't working and scored a touchdown. But you can see on the kids' faces these high-powered offense, and when the defense is just punching you in the mouth, you kind of go, well, what are we supposed to
Yeah.
do? This has
Nothing's
worked
working.
all year. Nothing's working. And yeah, you're right. Defense is king in college football these last couple of years.
All right, so that's the Orange Bowl Thursday night. And then Friday night, the Cotton Bowl. You get Texas and Ohio State. I think 24/7 and on three, they have their roster ratings from recruits. These are the top two rosters in college football when it comes to average star recruits on the team. Georgia had the third, is ranked third, but you have Ohio State and Texas. They said there's going to be 21 players, at least 21 players in the Cotton Bowl between Texas and Ohio State that are going to get drafted uh, come this spring. I mean, this is just the two top talented teams. One of them,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, is playing like the best team in college football. The way
Golly.
they've played, they smoked Tennessee, smoked Oregon. Texas looked good and was in control the whole time against Clemson. And then they had to battle and come back against Arizona State there in overtime. Arizona State, what a game that was. They played the perfect game plan. They ran like 100 plays, and that's how they were able. I mean, let's not forget, Arizona State only put up 8 points with 6 minutes to go in that game. They only had 8 points. They scored two touchdowns and two two-point conversions. And I think a lot of that had to do with they were they started running their 75th, their 80th, their 90th play, and that's when they finally were able to get to Texas. And I think that takes a toll. Arizona State had the perfect game plan, and they were couldn't and Texas couldn't run the football. And that's what I was sitting there watching with my brothers. I was like, guys, what can we hang our hat on? If we can't run the ball against Arizona State and Quinn Ewers isn't going to figure it out, what do we have on offense that we can score? And
Right.
Ewers' credit stepped up. His last three throws were scores. He had the two
Man,
touchdowns
what a
overtime
ball.
and then the two
Yeah.
point, oh, huge play. I mean, that's why he's an NFL uh, caliber quarterback. That 4th and 13, checking a max protection, getting the route to confuse the safety to come up so to get a post behind him. I mean, that was elite quarterback play. But the problem with Texas is, I mean, have you ever seen a team as good as Texas that plays as inconsistent as Texas does throughout a game? I mean, it's mind-boggling. They start hot, they finish strong, but the second and third quarters, I mean, it's mind-boggling how inconsistent Texas to be that good and be as inconsistent as they are. If they do that this week, Ohio State could get this game out of control in a hurry because how good they're playing right now.
Yeah, I agree, man. I still think Texas A to Z, front to back is the best team, most complete team in college football, most complete team. I think right now Ohio State is the best team in college football. I
Yep.
mean, we talk about it ever since that Michigan loss, everyone across the line from them, it's like they just see Michigan. They're attacking. Every game's a rivalry game, and Ohio State's really just turned it on to another level. Um, like you said, Texas, man, they start and finish well, but it's the meat of the sandwich. Um, and as you get closer now, we're the semifinals and close game. How many close games can Texas play? And if you're a fan and a coach, it's just so frustrating because you're going, guys, if we played this way the entire game, wouldn't be close. We'd be Ohio State. We'd be punishing people, and they'd go, who's going to stop Texas? Right now, the question is who's going to stop Ohio State? And I tell you, Texas's defense is going to be tested. Like you said, they got tested with quantity with
Yes.
Arizona
And
State.
that was the
Arizona
deal
State just
against
kept
Arizona
chipping
State.
away.
It was the quantity. But the thing with Ohio State is, and that's the one thing you look at this Texas defense, they're number one in not allowing explosive plays. Well, that's how Ohio State has been getting Tennessee, and they got Oregon early, is they scored on explosive plays. So if you're Texas, you're thinking, well, let's not forget, we've been good at limiting the explosive plays. And if you're going to beat Ohio State, you're going to have to make them earn it and drive down the field. You can't let them score in chunks. That Jeremiah Smith, best player in college football. I mean, I've heard people all week talk about he would be the number one player drafted in the draft this year. He's a true freshman. He's a
I mean,
specimen.
yeah,
Texas has a number one rated secondary. They got Jahdae Barron, who won the Thorpe Award. Um, I don't know what Texas' plan is going to be. I'm very anxious to see how Texas is going to choose to cover these Ohio State receivers. Like you've said many times, Ohio State's the best receiving core in the country, and Texas has the best secondary in the country. So I'm anxious to see that battle, how Texas goes about trying to cover those guys.
yeah, me too. And that's what I was going to say. Texas got tested with quantity against Arizona State. Now they're going to get tested with quality with these Ohio State receivers, best receivers in the country. Like you said, arguably the number one overall player. He and Ryan Williams from Alabama. Man, what a
Yep.
dude, just freshman wide receiver, just 17, 18-year-old, just stud. Best wide
Dominating.
receiver. I mean, just unreal. So yeah, Texas, but like you said, the Texas's secondary has been probably their best overall unit this year. The Thorpe Award winner, a big interception there against Arizona State to seal the game. I think they're up for the task. It's just going to be like you said, limiting the explosive plays, bend but don't break, don't let anyone behind you. And I'm really excited for this game.
I am
This
too.
game. I think the winner of this wins the national
I
championship.
agree. I agree. Ohio State, their one weakness is they've had injuries along the offensive line. So when you look at their team, that's their one weakness is they don't really have true tackles, and Texas can get after it on the pass rush. So Texas, that's a big matchup that Texas needs to win if they want to have a chance this game and stay competitive. They've got to manhandle the line of scrimmage, and they got to put pressure on Will Howard and force some turnovers. That's Texas's. I think that's Texas's path to victory. Pressure Will Howard, get to him before he can get the ball to Jemiah Smith and Abuka and those guys. Force turnovers, get pressure on him. Texas can do that. That's how Michigan got to Ohio State and it forced two Will Howard interceptions. I think that has to be Texas's path. Easier said than done with the way Ohio State's playing. And on offense, Quinn Ewers, dude, if you're ever going to have a game, this is your when
Yeah.
like you got to play like you did against Alabama last year. And by the way, that was the last time Texas was an underdog. They lost to Georgia both times this year, but they were favored both those games. Texas has been favored in every game since that road trip to Alabama early in 2023. Texas needs Quinn Ewers from Alabama last year. That's the effort they need. If they get that, this will be a ball game. And but they got to have that. If Texas doesn't play their A game on offense, it's hard to see that they can really hold Ohio State down enough to win this game late. So you got to have you got to have Quinn Ewers' best effort, run the ball some, and then just play the defense you've been playing all year, and then we're gonna have a ball game. But Ohio State, man, they're clicking tough. They're
Yeah.
good.
And you're right. It's something we've said the last couple seasons is Texas goes, Texas lives and dies by Quinn Ewers. And
Yep.
what Quinn Ewers are you going to get? If you get the Quinn Ewers that the Red River Shootout where he's kind of not, of course, first game back, I think he's
Right.
trying to do a little much, but his feet. If you look at a quarterback making bad throws, especially overthrows, you can usually go back and look at their feet.
Right. He's got
Quinn,
bad
you
feet.
know,
Yeah.
his feet, that's his one knock on him. But I mean, like you said, you get, oh, he doesn't set his feet and he's throwing high and he's either turning it over or bad throws. Or you get that, like I said, when as soon as he threw it, I went, oh, what a ball to Golden
Yes.
for that touchdown. And I'm going, if you get just half, I think Texas is good enough to where any given game, if you get 50% Quinn Ewers, let's say Alabama is 100% Quinn Ewers, if you get 50% Quinn Ewers on any given week, basically, and all the way up through the playoffs to this point, I think Texas is going to win just because as I always like to say, at one point you're going to out athlete the other team. You're just
Yeah,
going to
that's been
beat
Texas
them.
all year,
Yeah.
but he can't
But
do that
Ohio
this year.
State, you're going to need to push.
You're
You're
going to need at
right.
least a 95% game.
And we're going to need 90 plus if you're
Yeah.
Texas to get past Ohio State. So yeah, I can't wait, and I think you're still planning on going to the game. Is that what I
I
hear?
am. It's going to be tricky with the weather getting down there. I think getting down there will be okay. Looks like the weather, it's going to be in the upper 30s. So the drive there won't be terrible, but it's getting home after the game Friday night's going to be, could be tricky night and seeing what the weather does with the refreeze. But yeah, I'll be down there. Me and my brothers, my cousin, we'll be down there and see what happens. Could be witnessing a blowout, or we could be just be pumped that
Could be
we were there.
celebrating and yeah,
Yeah.
get a hotel. Don't even come
So.
back.
All right. NFL wildcard weekend starts. We have the playoff is set. You have the Chiefs, two-time defending Super Bowl champs. They're the one seed in the AFC. They don't play this week. They get a bye. Lions are the one seed in the NFC. They get a bye. So what we have on Saturday, you got Chargers at Texans, Texans +3, Steelers at Ravens -9.5. Steelers have lost 4 in a row. They've really hit a slide. Chargers looking good late. Texans kind of faltered a little bit. Little surprised Texans giving up 3 at home. Ravens favored by 9.5 against the Steelers. Uh, and then on Sunday you get Broncos at Bills. Bills favored by 8.5. Packers at Eagles. Eagles favored by 4.5 at home. Commanders at Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 3. And then on Monday you got Vikings at Rams. Vikings on the road favored by 1. That game, because of the terrible fires that are happening out in the southern California area, might get moved to Arizona on Monday if they can't aren't able to play it in Los Angeles Monday night. Jimmy, what game NFL wildcard weekend you looking forward to the most? Opening weekend.
Two of them. I'm looking forward to Ravens Steelers. Like you said, the Steelers just said, "Hey man, we just need to win 10. That's it. No
Yep.
more, no less. We're just going to stop at 10 and just lose." Like you said, lost 4 in a row. I'm really looking forward to that. This Ravens team that just can't get over the hump? They've got MVP quarterback, MVP running back, but they can't ever put it all together. I'm interested to see because Mike Tomlin, he's going to have a plan and they're going to be ready. And anytime you've got a guy like Russell Wilson on the other side, you just don't know. We talk about Quinn Ewers, what Quinn Ewers you're going to get in the NFL. What Russell Wilson are you going to get? Are you going to get Seattle Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh 10-win Russell Wilson? Or are you going to get Broncos Russell Wilson? You don't know. So that I'm really excited to see that one. And then I want to see I probably Packers Eagles. Honestly, I was going to switch it up last minute and go Broncos Bills, but Packers Eagles because Philly, man, Philly's been on a roll. I
Yes, they
mean, what
have.
they're 12-win team, 11,
Yeah.
12 wins. I'm just sitting here going, did not see that coming. And the Packers, they lose receiver, they lose Christian Watson for the year. But the Eagles, let's see how good the Eagles are. 4.5 points. I got to pick in this game later. But I want to see that because Jordan
And
Love has had himself quite a good season, but can
yeah,
Philly?
they lost to the Bears. I mean, that was a bad loss at home. Lost to the Bears at home on that late field goal. Jordan Love, though, don't forget, he had a huge playoff victory last year against the Cowboys. So
Mhm.
he has a road win. Can he do it again against the Eagles this year? We'll see. But Eagles are hot. I like the Lions out of the NFC. My preseason pick was Chiefs and Lions in the Super Bowl. I'm sticking with it. No reason to change it. They're both the one seed. Um, you got even though he's an Aggie, how can you not love Dan Campbell? That
Man,
dude, I'd love for him to coach the Cowboys. That ain't happening, but How do you not like that guy? You root for that guy.
I mean, he's a players coach in the sense that, you have players coaches kind of let the players do whatever they want, sort of a Lane Kiffin kind of guy. And, just sort of, hey, buddy, you do whatever you want. It's the Wild West as long as you win. And then you got a players coach, guys like Dan Campbell, Nick Saban, who guys will run through. You
Yeah.
hear the expression all the time, run through a brick wall. That's Dan Campbell. That's Nick Saban. That's Andy Reid. It's a lot of these guys. I think it's Belichick to an extent. I think Belichick's a little more like, well, yeah, you're an idiot. Now here's how you do it. And he just sort of, his approach is different. But elite coaches coach players to elite levels, and that's what we're seeing in Detroit with Dan Campbell. Because I mean, golly, Goff you're thinking, well, Stafford can't do anything in Detroit. Well, they're going to swap. They watch Stafford go out there and win a Super Bowl and going, man, Goff must have been the problem. I guess he's just not that good. Man, he's having a second career in Detroit. And so, yeah, and I think it all goes back to Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal season. Of course, and the Chiefs too. The Chiefs, they've won so many one-score games. Well, they ended up with two losses, but the last one they didn't play any of their starters. They lost to the Broncos. So they really only got beat one time, and that was against the Bills. Some are saying that the Ravens and Bills might have enough to beat the Chiefs, but with them having home field, you're gonna have to go to Kansas City, and you're gonna have to beat
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes. And it's still true. Only two people have ever beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Tom Brady beat him twice, and Joe Burrow beat him once. That's it. That's the list. So it's tough to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. He's so good at making things happen on money downs, on third down, and just winning close games. That's what the Chiefs do. A lot of people say that's eventually going to bite you, but the Chiefs have shown. I mean, Mahomes already has three Super Bowls. They've won two in a row. He's so good
Mm-hmm.
in tight games. He's so clutch. And I think that's what he'll always be known for, his ability to be clutch in those key moments. And something just tells me they're going to find a way to do it again, even though it's never been done before. Three Super Bowls in a row. But something tells me that dude is so good when the game's on the line. So,
It's almost like we see with Brady Belichick. You had that perfect
yes.
head coach, quarterback. Both guys just get it. Both guys love each other, and it's a whole. I think we're seeing the second coming of that with Mahomes and Andy Reid because, like everything you just said, plus the Chiefs, it's like that they're going to have the right play dialed up. I mean, golly, think about how just mind blowing that shovel, that underneath shovel to Travis Kelce was when they first debuted that. You're just
Yep.
going, what? How did you know that? And they do stuff like that, and they execute it so well that when you're playing them, you've got to just go, okay, guys, it's third down. We got to get a stop here. But in the back of your mind, you're going, what are they going to do? They're going to pull something out.
Yep.
Clutch hitting in baseball. There's guys you don't like to see at the plate when it matters because you're going, that's going to get a hit. I just know it. So yeah, that's who Mahomes reminds me of, and that whole Chiefs team reminds me of a team that just they're going to execute, get it done.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get to our last segment, our picks. Last week, I went 4-6. I got to 500 and then went 4-6. So now I'm just under 500 at 49%, two games under. Jimmy with a huge week last week at 9-7 to get him to 500 on the season. So now Jimmy back to 500. So we're both right there. Huge week for Jimmy last week. And we got a lot of picks this week. I got six, three college, three NFL for me.
I got 10, four
10.
college, 6 NFL.
Okay. All right. I'll go with the first one. The game Thursday night, Notre Dame, Penn State. I talked about it earlier when we talked about the game. I really like Notre Dame here. I think Notre Dame's the better team. I think their style of football is they can really hang their hat on their elite defense. And offensively, they play coherent football. They run the ball. They shrink the game. Riley Leonard is dangerous with his legs, and he can do enough through the air. I think Notre Dame wins this football game. It's a pick 'em. So all they have to do is win. So I like Notre Dame in a pick 'em.
I agree. Same pick. Give me Notre Dame money line. Funny, Riley Leonard, they asked him, they said, why are you so hard to tackle? And he goes, I really don't have, I think it's because I don't have any good juke moves. Defenders are so used to mobile quarterbacks being able to really juke and jive that they expect too much from me. And then I'm just able, like, they're just, oh, he's not. And then by that time, he's a big kid too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like Notre Dame in that. And I like the under. Both
Under,
teams
huh?
like to play defense. Give me under 45. Both teams like to play defense. They like to run the ball and take time off the clock. So give me Notre Dame money line and the under 45.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, the next college semifinal game in the Cotton Bowl, Texas and Ohio State. I got two bets in this game. One, I'm going to go with a prop bet. I'm going to go running back for Texas, Jaden Blue. I'm going to say he gets over 11 and a half receiving yards. Okay. I
Okay.
think that's going to be an advantage. Ohio State really likes to blitz, especially when you go empty. So I can see at least one time where Texas shifts Jaden Blue out of the backfield, get to empty. No one Ohio State likes to blitz and just throwing some type of screen pass or something to Jaden Blue. Sark likes to throw screens. He likes to get the ball to the running backs out of the backfield. I think 11 and a half is too small of a number. I think Blue is going to surpass that. So I like Jaden Blue, running back in Texas, over 11 and a half receiving yards. And then in the game, Texas and Ohio State, I really like the over here. The way Ohio State's offense is clicking. Texas, number one defense in the country, but Ohio State's offense is clicking big time. I think Texas is going to have to score points to try to keep up. Therefore, it's 53 and a half. I like the over. Texas, Ohio State over 53 and a half.
I like that over as well for the exact same reasons. I think Ohio State, they're clicking right now. They're going to do their part. They're not going to be 8-point Arizona State. Ohio State's going to do their part. Texas is going to have to do their part, stay in it. So give me the over. And I'm doing a little bit of reverse psychology. Ohio State, Texas in the game. Give me Ohio State -6. I feel like if I root for Ohio State and want them to win, Texas will win.
There you go.
So
I like that.
I'm thinking Ohio State -8 because don't forget, Texas was my preseason pick to win the national
Yeah, I was just
championship.
looking at that. You had Texas preseason on our very first show back in the end of August. You had Texas plus 850 to win the national championship. So it's a bit of a hedge for you, a bit of a hedge, which is
Yeah,
perfect.
so
Perfect opportunity.
yep. So that's give me Ohio State -6. I think Texas does enough to win the game, but hey, you know what? For the show, for bets, give me Ohio State -6 because reverse psychology. So
Yeah. All right. Okay.
if you lose, I'm getting paid.
Yeah, because we're both on the same page. Winner of Texas Ohio State is going to win the national championship.
Yeah.
They're the better team. Okay. NFL, I got three games. I got a bet on Saturday, a bet on Sunday, and a bet on Monday. I'm going to go with the Chargers Texans game. I like over 42 and a half. I think the Chargers offense is clicking at the right time. They're scoring a lot of points. I can see them getting up to a lead. Again, it's just kind of the same philosophy. I think the Texans are going to have to score. They're at home. They're going to have to score to keep up a little bit. 42 and a half. I definitely can see this getting to around 50. I like the over. Texas defense has been struggling down the stretch. So Chargers, Texans over 42 and a half.
I'm going to stay in the same game, but give me Chargers -3. The Texans, CJ Stroud in his sophomore slump. Granted, he's had injuries, wide receiver position, but I think the Chargers right now they're just the better team. They're coming in, and I think they win this game. I think they cover. So give me Chargers -3.
I agree with that. Then the one I have on Sunday, the Buccaneers hosting the Commanders. I think Baker Mayfield is the more experienced quarterback. He's at home. I think he knows how to win playoff football games. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers, small favorite -3 at home over the Commanders.
I'm going to stay in the same game. Give me Redskins money line.
Okay.
+140 right now. I think Dan Campbell, another guy, players coach, great motivator.
Yes.
He's getting the most out of probably rookie of the year, at least offensive rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels here at quarterback. And I think the Redskins go down to Tampa and upset the Buccaneers. So give me Redskins money line. Like I said, it's +140 right now, so I like that.
Good value. Good value.
Hmm.
All right, the Monday night game, Vikings at the Rams. Of course, it could be moved to Phoenix, Arizona, play in the Cardinal Stadium because of the fires. I've been against the Vikings all season, and they've proved me wrong. I'm going to go ahead and switch. The Vikings, small favorite -1. I'm going to say the Vikings, maybe they're for real. And I've been against them all season, but they did just lose to the Vikings, or excuse me, to the Lions, but the Lions are the number one seed. I think the Vikings find a way to win this game because of their defensive pressure on Matthew Stafford. I think they're able to pressure Stafford, and I think that's going to be the difference. And I got the Vikings -1 over the Rams.
Same bet. Same bet. Vikings -1 for me. I think Sam Darnold comes back. He looked like the old Sam Darnold, but I think
Yeah.
that's just Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions, like you said, just really getting to them. They're the #1 overall seed. Bounce back game for the Vikings here. They beat the Rams, regardless of where it's played. Vikings -1. For my remaining three, Ravens Steelers. Give me Steelers +10. Buy the point. Buy the half point. Give me Steelers +10. I think Mike Tomlin is going to have a game plan ready, and I think the Ravens. I think they're going to try to come out and do too much, which I think is going to feed right into Mike Tomlin, that Steelers football team, and Russell Wilson's going to get it done. So give me Steelers +10. Next one, Broncos and Bills. Give me over 46. That's kind of high. I think the Bills offense is clicking. The Broncos right now are riding the high. We blanked the defending Super Bowl champion, albeit with their third string practice squad and some of the concession people playing. But Bo Nix, man, he's impressed me this year. And I think he does enough on his side. Broncos have a good defense. Bills are just going to be too much, but I think that over hits. Give me over 46 in the Bills and Broncos. And for my last one, Packers and Eagles. Eagles -4. I think Philly, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Philly is probably going to the NFC Championship game. And I think this game is going to be a statement game for Philly. Like I said, Christian Watson really done much this year. He's kind of had a sophomore slump himself since his big game. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys last year.
Yes.
So
I
think the Eagles -4 is the play here, and I think they run away with it.
Yeah, I like that bet. I mean, if I was going to bet that game, that's what I would do. Okay, here's our Gridiron bets recap for Jimmy in college. He's got Notre Dame. He's a pick 'em on Thursday night. He's also got the under 45 in Notre Dame Penn State. Then the Cotton Bowl on Friday. He's got Ohio State Texas over 53.5, and he's got Ohio State -6. In the NFL, Jimmy's got Chargers -3, Commanders money line, Vikings -1, Steelers +10, Broncos Bills over 46, Eagles -4. Then myself in college, I got Notre Dame to win in a pick 'em. I got prop bet Jaden Blue, running back for Texas, over 11.5 receiving yards. And I have the over 53.5 with Jimmy on the Ohio State Texas game. In the NFL, I got Chargers Texans over 42.5, Buccaneers -3, and Vikings -1. So there's our show. There's our bets. 6 from me, 10 from Jimmy. That's 16 winners coming right at you on a great weekend of football. 5 straight days of football, 2 college, and 3 Saturday, Sunday, Monday NFL Wildcard weekend. Thanks for listening to the show. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Jimmy, enjoy the chili. I think Allison's batching up some chili for dinner tonight. Super pumped about that. Enjoy the chili.
No beans?
No beans. Well, this is a no beans household.
Yeah,
I mean,
mine too.
What are they saying that in Yellowstone? Texans invented chili, and there's no beans in chili. When you add beans, you make it a soup. It's a soup, not a chili.
I agree. Hey, man, I'm with you. I'm with you. No beans personally. So, yeah, good.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate it. We'll see you guys. We'll have a show next week to get ready for the national championship. National championship's on Monday, January 20th. And, of course, that'll be the second round of the NFL playoffs. So we'll have a show out end of next week to get you ready for all those games. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. And hook 'em horns. Everybody drive safe going to the Cotton Bowl on Friday. We'll see you next week.
See ya.